Atma Namaste, everyone. Welcome to the third in the series of Interview with a Pranic Healer. Today, we have with us one of our most popular, most well known instructors, Dr. Prashant, or Dr. P, as he is very popularly known. He's one of the senior instructors for the courses of Master Chua Kok Sui, and he's a main licensee from the Institute for Inner Studies in Manila. He's a doctor, he's a healer, of course, he's a teacher and a musician, and someone whom I am very proud and pleased to call my friend. And before I go really any further, let me please ask Dr. Prashant, would you please introduce yourself? Would you please tell us a little about your journey into pranic healing? When did you join? What made you join? And where you are now?
Hi, Orkadev. Namaste. Thank you for this opportunity again to you and to the Institute and to the team who's working together to put all these things nicely together. So I started when I was 19, 20, and before that, I used to do a lot of Reiki.
Mm.
Um, I was 13 when I started with Reiki. My uncle got paralyzed, and they were trying everything, and a Reiki master came and he tried to heal, and it was difficult for him. And he told my aunt that, why don't you gather people? I will teach them Reiki, and all of you can take turns to do Reiki. And that's how it started. Of course, I did not do that course, but the second level happened to be in my home. I come from school, and my hall is filled with all my relatives, uncles, aunts, and people. And in the evening, when the Reiki master left, he held my ears, took a deep breath, and I felt like the heat from his thumbs went into my brain, and it was quite hot, very hot for a few moments, and then he said, well, he's initiated into Reiki, he can start healing. And that's how I got into it without any consent, without willingness to join. I was 13 years old. Then, of course, if you put me into something, I get very curious. I started reading, studying, and I became a Reiki master when I was 15.
Oh, wow.
Started started writing about my thoughts and ideas with healing, and yeah, I realized that what I learned was not original. It was maybe a bifurcation from the original. So I wanted to find the roots of Reiki and standardize it. I wanted to explain to people the science behind it, the structure of it, and all that. So my uncle gave me a typewriter. I would type it out in the night, 11 to 12. Everybody's trying to sleep, and tack, 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 tack. I would type it out. But anyway, I standardized the level 1, level 2, level 3 of Reiki. So I wanted to go and meet all Reiki masters in Mumbai as much as I can and give out these copies so that they read it and then they give me their feedback. That's what I did 15 and 16 at that time. My age was 15 and 16. Then my cousin got married and she went to Australia and she met Master there. She learned pranic healing, she did the courses, she even got Shaktipat by Master and all that. We did not know because she kept it silent. Of course, her father, my dad's elder brother, he learned it and he would not join the Reiki circle that we would have. Every Sunday we would meet and do a Reiki circle. And one day I caught him on the road and I said, where are you going? You don't come to the Reiki things anymore. So then he spoke to me at length about spirituality for 4, 5 hours. And then he took me to a meditation on Twin Hearts evening.
Wonderful.
Incidentally, it was a Gujarati version of meditation on Twin Hearts. You know those cassette tapes those days where you do a voiceover.
Yeah.
So this is Master Choa Koksui, and the rest of it was all Gujarati. So I could follow because I was in Mumbai and I have so many Gujarati Kutchi friends. So I could follow the meditation, and I thought Master Chova is a Guju guy.
You're joking.
Choksi is a surname,
Yes, of course.
right? So temporarily, because there was no picture of master, nothing.
Hmm.
So around that time, I had gone online and did a Yahoo search about pranic healing because even my Reiki students had mentioned that to me. So I got curious, and there was just one page of the institute that opened up at that time. There were not many websites, and it said, founder of modern pranic healing and Hatha Yoga, Master Chowa Koksuvi, his picture, and then a caption of Saint Augustine which said, "Miracles are those which follow the laws of nature, and those who do not know the laws of nature call them miracles," right? And the subquote of Master Chowa on that. And the fax number, email contact of the institute. That's it. I'm like, okay, this is a very little information. I need more information. So I finished my first year medical university exams, probably 18 and 19 or something. So that's when my uncle enrolled me into the basic course. He paid up 200 or 300 rupees or something. I don't know how much he paid. And the rest I had to pay when I did the course. And I fell in love with master's class. The structure, the explanation, the standardization, the copyrights.
Hmm.
Because I was doing all that for Reiki. I wanted to standardize it. I went and patented, registered, trademarked things so that they can be in a structured format for Reiki. And all of that was there already in Pranic Healing. I fell in love with the genius of the presentation, the simple to difficult topic, the alignment of the course. I said, this is what I have to do. I knew it. There was a small picture of Master on a chair, and he had black hair. I just felt, this is familiar. This person is familiar. And I could constantly see rays of light coming out through his picture into the classroom. At that time, my clairvoyance was active during the course.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's where everything changed for me. Same week, I enrolled for advanced psychotherapy. Next weekend, I did soul realization. Then I did spiritual business management with Master Daphne. I went all the way to Hyderabad for that. Then Arhatic Yoga, Crystal Pranic Healing, Psychic Self, all the courses. In 4 months, I did 13 or 14 courses of master. I went to volunteer in the ashram. Then, of course, master left. Then we did the overnight chanting at the ashram. Yeah, and I became a very intense volunteer in the Maharashtra Foundation. I would do introductions, talks. I was very good in talking. That is one of my plus points. So I would give introductions, demonstrations. Other instructors will call me. That first year, already in Pranic Healing, I was invited to go to the teacher training program, and I became an instructor for basic Pranic Healing. So that's how my journey started. And then, no looking back, every weekend I would teach, I would travel. I was very fortunate to be able to open many, many other parts of Maharashtra. I went to Goa for many years, taught hundreds of students in Goa. Then I got an opportunity to go to Croatia in 2010. Again, Master Daphne was instrumental in that. And just this weekend, I went back teaching basic pranic healing in Croatia. So, yeah, it's been a very interesting journey where I taught a lot in India, traveled a lot out of India as well. But now I live in Amsterdam. I moved out of India, which I never dreamt of doing. And the reason that I moved out of India is for pranic healing,
Hmm.
for teaching pranic healing in Europe, and not for my profession as a doctor or some other reason, but this reason, which as a small boy, I never thought I would leave my little town Chembur and Mumbai and go out and live away from my parents and all that. But yeah, that is my reality, and I'm busy. I am enjoying this every moment, and it's fascinating. And I'm so grateful to Master for just digging the path and laying the concrete, and I just have to move on it. Uh, yeah, it's smoothened out.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they talk about their journey in pranic healing, they talk about usually something happens, some crises, which I think is a very common for any of us who are in pranic healing, spreading and organizing for pranic healing, that there's always been a crisis in our lives, and then somehow pranic healing has come in, and we felt a sense of homecoming once we did that first workshop. In your case, the journey has also been a very literal one where you've traveled hundreds and thousands of miles away from your home. Now you live abroad. So the journey has been a literal and metaphorical one for you.
True, true. There was no crisis that got me into pranic healing, right?
Hmm.
But I think it was destiny in this way, definitely, because I usually don't believe in this mystical way of
Hmm.
expressing that I had a dream and I was meant to be here and I met this person and you know maybe that's true, but I believe in the real part of life where things happen. There was my uncle who fell sick, and we met Reiki through that, and we did amazing with Reiki. But there was always a point where you hit the ceiling, and then you don't know where more to go. There is no more space, and you
Hmm.
want to break it open and explore further. And that's when pranic healing came.
And that's when pranic healing came.
And yeah, and that was like for my upgradation, right? And believe me, before that, my mother would buy all kinds of self-help books, healing books, meditation books. We would read them and we would long for more teachings, more knowledge. You name the courses, we have done all of them, whether it is Vipassana or um, Art of Living or name them. We've done all of that. But pranic healing is where I think I arrived and then I stayed in a way. And then everybody in my family learned pranic healing.
Hmm.
I was the organizer or I became an instructor for them. So my entire family eventually became healers, meditators. They would come with me to retreats. And yeah, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And we share a commonality in that same journey of ours, wherein a lot of our family members joined in and became the entire family is a pranic arhatic family. And they join in for the full moon events, they join in for the special events. Uh, if time and work permits, then they travel for the various events which are organized around the country.
Facebook keeps popping up these memories, right? And then I see my uncle, my father, and other people from my family. I'm like, yeah, those were nice days. My car would always be full,
Mhm.
and yeah, we would travel.
It's beautiful that way. So life has been very transformative once we've come into pranic healing. And could you share a story of a personal healing transformation?
There are many amazing experiences I have had. And since being a medical doctor, I would see patients who also had severe conditions and situations, right? I had a clinic in Mumbai.
Mhm.
So people would come and then they would see what are these chakras all about, and then they would end up also talking about pranic healing and wanting healing. But there was one student of pranic healing who went through cirrhosis of liver
Oh,
and was a panicky situation. So he was admitted in the hospital and they were putting him on a liver transplant list. So, of course, they learned from me and they were very close to me. They contacted me immediately. 5 days, several times in the day, I would heal him when he was in the hospital. Then he was discharged. They put him on a liver transplant. It was quite grave and he couldn't even sit up and breathe properly. Then every day I would do a healing for that month. And then I think in half a month's time he could move. So he would take a rickshaw or taxi or something and come to my place to receive front physical healing. 3 times a week we would do the healing. Next 2 months, third month, and I could see him improve. Now, by now, the third month, he would walk from his place to my place, right? He had gained so much energy. His everything, life changed already. His uncle was his physician, and he was a senior medical doctor in the facility where he was working. He contacted me and he said, "This is amazing. We were not expecting him to survive. So it's already 3.5 months, and pranic healing is working. Whatever you're doing is working." And then they did a test, I think on the fourth or fifth month, where you could check how much of the liver is fibrotic and all that. There was just one small scar. The rest
Wow.
of the liver was regenerated. For me, that was an amazing, among many, many, many such stories, right? That was amazing to see. And he, 8 or 9 months after, traveled with me in the same flight with me to Italy to the
Wow.
Arhatica retreat. Yes. By then, he would do meditations regularly, and then his aura became stronger, chakras became stronger. His physical health improved so much, so he could travel to Italy with me, and we did the retreat in Rome. Yeah, that was fascinating to witness and to
These,
show and
uh,
tell, right? Hey, this was the guy, life transformational.
yeah, you've brought him with you to Italy to see, like, look, people had given up hope, and now he's just got what, a scar, a
Yeah,
fibrotic scar left.
yeah.
Bam,
Second life, second
second
life.
line.
They are still in touch with me. They still ask for healings, help, and all that. But yeah, amazing. We
There are two
became
parts to this
family.
story of yours which are, which really stand out. One is that from being in the hospital to then being able to come to your place for healings, taking a rickshaw, taking a mode of transport, and then gradually walking there back and forth on his own. If that
Yes,
isn't transformative enough, after that, he's traveled with you abroad from being completely bedridden to traveling internationally. I mean, how much more miraculous can these stories get?
true. And I also want to emphasize that it was not overnight,
True,
right? It took
true.
its time, but it is something that medically couldn't be done, right? And being put off a list of transplantation and then completely getting better, rejuvenated, revitalized, and then moving and having a life again. That is fascinating.
This.
Another transformational story of a girl, sorry, because suddenly I remember this face of her. She was a skeptic,
Hmm.
non-believer, but she would come because she wanted healing, right? And then, of course, when you meet me, you talk to me, you end up doing the courses and learning more. And then you're like, okay, Prashant is telling me to meditate. Okay, they will meditate with me, right? And that's how her journey went on. 9 or 10 years after, she kept still coming, right? But she said, Prashant, does this really work? Right? This was her constant question. Her skeptical mind did not really change. But at one point, something happened in our personal life, and some of the teachings of Master, like forgiveness, blessings,
Hmm.
tithing, these things changed things for her. And I didn't have to tell her anything anymore. She didn't have to ask me those questions anymore. She's still in pranic healing, she's still in arhatic yoga. Right? So for me, the teachings work, the techniques work. They are very scientific, right? If I do it the way it is taught, it works for me. I
Hmm.
teach it to someone, they copy it, the protocol, they follow the steps, it works for them. So it's the technology, and there is nothing second about it. Just follow it. Just do
Follow
it.
simple instructions.
That's it.
Yeah. This is a very interesting story too. One was of the physical movement, and then this lady whose journey, uh, who also transformed over a course of over a decade, you said.
Yeah.
I read
Ah,
this line somewhere. Someone told me this, that the longest, most difficult journey we'll make in life is a journey from our solar plexus to our heart.
absolutely.
And
It's so close by, right?
it's so close. Right
Closest.
there.
Like I remember Master Hector would say, that is the Kurukshetra.
Ah.
the transition between solar plexus and heart. So the Pandavas are in the heart, the Kauravas are in the solar plexus, and then Arjuna has to decide what to do, right? I think Krishna is your Arjuna maybe,
Mm,
and then it makes you help you decide what is the right thing to do,
yeah.
and that's the Kurukshetra.
There's so many of Master Choa's quotes that are floating into my mind right now that the journey on the spiritual path is like walking through the Amazon. The teacher has already been there, and truly, it's we can never have enough gratitude and respect for and love for Master Choa for doing what he did, all the sacrifices he made to ensure that we would be on the right track.
Absolutely. It seems so simple, right? Whenever I teach, people say, "That's it." Is there more? No, actually, that's it. It's so simplified, right? Because people like to, there are these videos on Instagram where people are moving and shaking
Oh,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
those. I mean, it's nice for visual, right? It's a nice visual, but we do not know before and after. We just see a clip.
Yep.
In my life, I have seen people before, during, after for years, right? If I have to capture all of that, I will need hours and hours of videos that people have to sit and watch, isn't it?
True.
Uh, and this is not just some movement during a healing we are
Mm.
talking about. It is movement of thoughts, movement of character, movement of decisions, behaviors, life. And I think that is why I stay in pranic healing because it has contributed so much to me as a person. When I see somebody who can come out of pain without me even touching them, wow, that's a power,
Oh, yes.
right? We go after so many kinds of siddhis in India
True.
without touching. If I can remove dirty energy or cancer energy or painful energy, swelling, he translated that into a science, which is pranic healing today.
Cookbook approach, protocolized. Follow it, you'll get results.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's one thing
Um,
that was very interesting you said about the patient, going back to the first case study you shared about the liver patient. And you mentioned one phrase which is going through my mind right now, that this transformation happened over a period of months. It was
mhm.
not overnight. And I get a lot of people, and I'm sure you too do, people who want overnight, rapid, miraculous healings. They come with the expectation that, okay, two healings have happened and a 10-year-old problem should be solved. Now, keeping this in mind, what kind of advice would you give to someone who is new to pranic healing or they're starting their healing journey as a healer? What advice would
So to before I give an advice, I do have a story of that also. My first healing as a pranic healing student was an 69-year-old woman with sciatica. Intense pain from her lower back to the buttocks to her heels. So we were doing free healings in one part in Mumbai, and every Tuesday we would meet there. Our main aim was to meditate with a group of people. So do meditation on twin hearts. But how to bring people? Well, we did free healings. So people would come and enroll for free healings, and then they would sit for the meditation. So we were almost like half an hour away from the meditation time, and I was doing a healing. There was a lady who came and she stood behind me. And you turn around, you look at her, and then she wanted healing. Okay, I said, I'll finish this and I'll heal you. She told me I cannot sit for too long, I cannot stand for too long, I cannot do anything. It's severe pain. Nothing has helped me. She is a Reiki master. She did this, that, acupressure, traction. Everything has temporary relief, but nothing cures her. I said, what makes you feel that this will help, right? If everything has not worked for you, why did you come here? She said, well, my friend said, just give it a try as well. Okay. So I started healing her. I told her that I cannot promise anything, but we can try. I was maybe 20, 21 at that time, or 20. I started healing her. I was very excited because that was my first sciatica case to heal with advanced pranic healing. So I knew the protocol, I followed all the steps. And 20, 30 minutes after, I had to wake her up. She was in deep,
Oh,
deep silence. I touched her shoulder. She woke up. She said, "That's it." I said, "What do you mean, that's it?" Uh, I said, 30 minutes. She was shocked that she sat down for 30 minutes. Okay. So I said, "Okay, stand up, check." She was having no pain. She has never had a moment of no pain in last 3, 4 years. Right? It's been
amazing.
constant pain. I can understand, but I couldn't believe her. So I told her, why don't you squat down? Okay, so I made her squat. I made her lift one leg, lift another leg, climb up the stairs, climb down the stairs. Okay. She said, I really don't have any pain. I have some pressure in my thighs, but no pain. I did not believe her. Uh, my medical mind at that time was like, so she's just trying to say nice things to me. Maybe she would never come back. So I told her next Tuesday, come again. Usually we should do more healing for you, but our policy here is we just meet on Tuesdays. Okay. Next Tuesday she came. She brought a small box of sweets or something, smiling, no pain it seems. The whole week she slept well because she couldn't lay in one position with pain. So she has to sit and lean back and sleep or something like that. She could sleep, she could do
Oh, wow.
things.
Wow.
So now I was forced to trust her, right? Okay, all right. I did another healing, told her to come next Tuesday. She didn't come, I did not see her for months. So out of sight, out of mind, right? But my mind said maybe she died. That's why she's not coming.
That's an
That's why.
interesting assumption.
Second option was maybe it is too bad, then that's why she's not coming anymore. Third option was maybe she's better, that's why she doesn't want healing. So, anyway, long story short, 9 months after or something, we were doing an pranic healing exhibition in that area. And we were many healers healing and patients standing in queue. But suddenly you just turn around and look behind. So I did that and I saw this lady in a shop far away buying those dry fruits and dried dates and stuff like that. So I went back to my healing. She's alive. That's what came to me.
That
And
was
then
your
I
first thought.
That's my first thought. So, and then I go running to this lady. I touch her shoulder, and she turns around. She says, "Oh, you." I said, "What do you mean, oh, you?
Oh,
Where were
you.
you? What happened to you?" So then she said, "Well, I had no pain anymore. So my daughter invited me to go to Australia, and then it was getting cold, so I went to US to my son, and I just came back today. And the neighbor said, go to the shop." Get your things. It's only last day today. I said, wow, that is a delayed feedback for me, but amazing life transformational memory where I could heal sciatica in one go. So there are such cases also, but why am I saying this in this forum is that we should not promise things
Mm.
that healing will be done in one go or your problem will be solved overnight because there are many factors to life. One of the things that we emphasize in pranic healing is also learning what the lesson is,
Oh, yes.
right? So that takes time. And Master Choa himself said, I'm not going to learn the lesson for you. I'm not going to resolve all your problems like that. All karmas removed. No. So, yeah, yeah, that's true. But we can help. We can be there. We can support. We can give tools. We can learn it ourselves. We can use it. Has so much to do in this world of pranic healing.
But then, have you noticed that there's some very young, very eager healers, some maybe not as young, who are so strong believers in pranic healing because they've seen the results in their lives. And when they become healers themselves, after having done the courses and certifications, they're very eager to start promising the moon, even though Master Choa has that saying, "Ki don't promise the moon." but they do that. So how, while there's one anecdote you shared of a person getting healed in one sitting and another person taking several months, if you could encapsulate it as one advice to them, what would that be?
My advice is do not promise anything, right? Give your life examples, what you
Mm,
did to
mhm,
people. And then, like, I remember once I had written an article about pranic healing. I showed it to one of the masters, and they said, you are overselling it by
mm,
using the word cure.
mm.
Why don't you just change the word cure to heal? Okay. And that is still in my head after 20 years of that advice because that's a very good point.
Don't oversell it.
Don't oversell anything. I mean, um, all your relationship will be healed for how long and why?
If the lesson isn't learned,
Yeah, I mean, some relationships are to be broken.
yeah, they
Some
are
relationships are to be healed.
true.
Some relationship break for healing also. It's a release.
It is.
So we should not overdo anything. I think that's one thing I learned in my life through others. So do not overpromise. Know your limitations. As a healer, right? We cannot also force people into a healing.
True.
They
Vital.
have to choose. They have to choose. I have so many family members. They know I travel, I teach, I heal so many people every day. But when they are sick, do they call me all the time? No. They suffer, suffer, suffer. Then the other cousins will say, did you talk to Prashant? Then the other cousins will say, can you heal her? I said, she did not ask. Okay. So then finally, it's already terribly bad. And then they will ask you, can you do a healing? So then my question is, do you really want a healing or is it because the other cousin
Asking, yeah.
told, no, I think I need it. Okay, fine. Because I don't want to force anything on anyone.
This happens
That
more with family, doesn't it?
for sure, for sure. Because they take you for granted. They've seen you grow from a small kid, right?
Hmm.
So many times this happened to me all my life. Actually, people always looked at me as a small boy,
Hmm.
and they take you for granted.
Hmm.
Which is okay, but then they don't want to ask for help,
Hmm.
and that's their karma probably.
True. In fact, a lot of the cases which come to us, the person who's referring is an arhatic yoga practitioner.
Yeah,
And the a very natural follow-up question comes is that have you tried healing your mother, father, brother, sister, wife, husband, whatever? And they said, no, he doesn't believe in it or she's not into it. So the next question that comes is that, all right, if your family member doesn't believe that you can do something, why bring them to a third party? And they just say, we don't know, we just brought them here. And inevitably, somehow, this other person gets better. Uh, Sometimes in a couple of sessions, sometimes a couple of years, there's some improvement that they notice. But it's not always that we can influence family members to walk the same path as us.
true, true. But like I saw many of my family members take healing. Many of them ask for help. Many of them are healers themselves, right? So that's a nice thing in my side of the story. But there are some cousins who don't,
Mm.
or they are probably very shy to ask, or very self-reliant and righteous or whatever to ask for help. They like to suffer maybe. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to stop them from suffering if that is what they like to do.
Family life is one of the fastest ways to progress.
I mean, each one's choice.
So,
But
one of the questions that I was going to ask you is to share a memorable experience, but you've already shared three or four. So, I'm going to ask you about you personally, that given that your journey has happened and you've been through several interesting situations, shall we say, met several interesting people, we can say. So, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay consistent in the practice?
So, yeah, practice is something that we have to do. When I started with Arhatic Yoga, every day for 6 months, I was so consistent and I did it by myself alone. Yeah. Every morning, practice, 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 do my Arhatic practice and everything. But eventually, I got bored of doing it alone,
Oh,
right? Then every Thursdays we would have this Twin Hearts meditation evening in my place, and people would come and I would talk and we would meditate. So that was fun. So eventually, some of my group members who were also Arhatic yogis, we started meditating together. That's just as a group. In that, it's my uncle, my mom, my dad, and other people, and then few friends and students. It grew over a period of time. It became a big Arhati Yoga group. Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. We would do 4 times a week practices. Then Saturday, Sundays would be courses many times. So it became a big community to the extent that they will come and stay till 11 in the evening. We eat together. Sometimes we'll go for movies after the practice. It became a bigger extended family. And I think that I enjoyed more than my own practice. So, yes, you can have your own practice, but when you have a group which thinks and does it with you, I think it's more rewarding, it's more fulfilling. So that's what helped me. And till this date, I have a group practice. Now, without that practice, I think it would be difficult to have insights, right? Because when we practice something, we understand it. When we understand it, there are new levels of insights that open up, and that help us in the next practice. Whether it is healing or meditation, both, if we do not involve ourselves in, we do not gain something from it. This is my experience. I've seen people who complain, people who leave the school, who do not continue with Pranic Healing Erratic Yoga. I see it is lack of practice
lack
or
of
no
practice.
lack of practice or no practice. Just book information. I know, I know chakras, I
Mm,
know karma.
mm.
Knowing is something, dealing with that in life is something else,
Yeah,
right?
knowing is not enough. There's knowing, remembering, practicing, and then
Practicing and
someday
mastering.
mastering.
Absolutely. Master said that, right? And they have read it, they know about it, but they don't have an experience.
Book knowledge,
That is
book
the
know.
difference. Yeah. So practice gives us, I call it experiential wisdom.
Mm,
And
that's good.
nobody can change that. Nobody can take it out of my book, right? This book of mine, the experiential wisdom I have gained through healing sciatica, through healing liver, through healing kidneys, or meditation and experiencing bliss. No, I can read the book 100 times, but that experience cannot be given through reading. Now people who are
Literally,
listening to our talk, right? They can understand, but maybe they experience what we are talking, but they need to experience it themselves by putting themselves into it.
total immersion.
Yeah.
You know, given your background as a musician, and that's not a topic that we really talk about very much, the question is, as a doctor, you're also practicing. As a musician, you're also constantly practicing. Have your roles as a doctor, as a musician, informed on your practices as a spiritual seeker?
Yes, for sure.
How so, if you would share?
For sure. Music, especially our Indian classical music, is very mathematical, very structured, very deep. At the same time, it has its own spiritual lift
Hmm,
that it brings with.
hmm.
So, yeah, for me, music, I even tried music therapy on few of my clients. When I would heal, I would sing a raga or play a certain raga for, say, there are certain notes which triggered properly in resonance can uh, alter the vibrations of the aura,
Hmm.
right? So they can regulate blood pressure or work on a depressive mind and bring more light to it. So there are these ragas that I would try and experiment with people who are receptive, and my healing was easier, faster.
Do you have any recordings or anything of them? This could be a beautiful talk in and of itself.
I did a talk on healing with music, healing with sounds, actually. That was a very popular talk. Maybe for Institute, we could do one, two, three parts of this talk because it was super popular at one point in time, and I couldn't make more time to do those talks. So we should go back to visit it. But yes, it is possible. It is, of course, something that needs more research. There are some pranic healers who have contributed some of their time to research on this, but there's more need for it. But there is a lot of experience with it, right? Like you sit in a concert and you listen to experienced artist performing, because the experienced artist makes a big difference. A beginner musician singing the same tone or note, and an experienced person, because they have ensouled themselves into that music, or the music has ensouled itself into them, vice versa. So when there is ensoulment, there is union, unison, resonance, whatever you call it. Yeah, that is healing.
That is healing.
That is balance. That is balance. So there are moments where I have myself experienced going out of my body, having a very blissful experience while simultaneously watching the artist,
Mm.
right? And this is actually because of our meditations. And then sometimes I would also observe what happens to the hall, to the members attending the music concert. It's beautiful to see.
It is.
That is a benefit of pranic healing, where you can use your faculties that you have developed over a period of time. You don't have to sit and scan, but use other higher faculties to observe.
Yeah, we're not just limited by the five physical
Yeah.
senses. There are more
This is the
faculties there.
this is the first time I openly talk about it, but yeah, it's possible.
They, in the context of the musician, the principle of ensoulment in the music, an amateur musician, a beginner, they play all the notes, but it is the guru, the master, who plays the silence. And
Yes,
true music
absolutely.
lies in that gap.
Yeah,
And if
that,
you don't just look at the light, look at the gap.
yeah, my teacher would tell me pause, right? And the pause also had to be my music teacher, huh? Because Master Choa already tells us that in the first meditation on twin hearts itself, right?
Yes.
Listen to the mantra Om and then pay attention to the gap or the silence between the two Oms. So Master says that all the time, but my music teacher would say, stop, pause, hold the note again,
Mm.
stop, don't rush, right? And that they would use the word, the pause is pregnant with music. The
Ah,
swara, the melody is pregnant in that silence. So, yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Even in our conversation, when we take a moment, that is the moment where it is infused into our mental body and we tend to understand it, and then things happen in our self and we start to resonate to this conversation, right? If I keep on talking, exactly.
it's the pause. Beyond what's beyond the pause, there's a greater activity. So you have the pause, and then we burst into laughter. So apologies for anyone listening to this on headphones. This part is suddenly the crescendo.
Yes, yes.
That the part in which you mentioned that it is a this book of your life, your experiences, experiential wisdom. And you said that the Twin Hearts meditation, that's the foundational meditation, of course, but all the higher meditations, they've prepared you for your journey, even in the understanding of music, and how beautifully, that story resonates. Would you say that you have any particular favorite pranic healing technique or meditation as such? And if you do, why so?
I think I will come back to meditation on Twin Hearts as my favorite, why that was my first experience as well. And I conduct an online forum for doing daily meditations, right? And I have 400 plus 500, sometimes 600 people join me online. Every day we gather. There are these steady, dedicated souls who take time out of their lives to not just meditate for themselves, because it does affect us
Mm,
primarily. We change, we transform, we feel peaceful, we feel there is hope in life, right? But they also take their mind with me as I'm guiding it to pray for people who are in peril, who are in distress, who are depressed, who have no more homes. The hurricane has devastated everything. So that is a beautiful thing. I remember one of our masters would say, act locally, effect globally,
globally.
right? So, yeah, and that we do every single day. So I think that's my favorite. And I can sometimes look at myself, right? Aren't you bored of doing the same thing every day? But I see there is no boredom at all. Every meditation, every day, the same maybe to the Supreme God is what we start with as an invocation. It's like, oh, to the Supreme God. No, it's an exciting
Yeah.
moment. A fresh energy comes in every day. Yeah, I remember one time we would do 3 times a day meditation for a certain cause, and every moment was unique, every session was special, and the outcome was spectacular. So, yeah, those who have not done this, you should experience it. Give it
This
a try.
this part where you've done the invocation three times and then I I think this couple of months back I was doing some purification practices with some of my friends, and it was fairly late in the night, and we have this sort of inner voice, this voice at the back of the head that says, "You've not done it, you've not done it, you've got to do it, you've got to do it." And so it's 1 in the morning, and we are tired. Like, no, take the paper out, let's sit with it, let's do our practice. And for no rhyme or reason, the three of us practicing, we got the giggles. All right, grown up people in their 40s, older than that, and we are just giggling away. Okay, and it's creepy when it's 1 o'clock at night and it's silent outside. All of you hear is this giggling going on, and we're looking at each other and saying, "Why are you giggling?" And then, "Why are you giggling?" And it's laughing,
Yeah.
just because the heart has somehow just activated, and that
That's a
itself
true
is
experience.
purification.
Yeah.
That is
And
healing.
that's bliss,
It
that's joy,
is
that's happiness. And there is no reason, right? Like people get met drugs, they get drunk, and then they experience out of
something.
body or whatever, bliss or whatever. But that's not true. That's chemical,
It's chemical.
right? That's chemicalized. Without that, I am always high in prana, right? So you can be happy, you can be blissful, you can keep giggling and laughing just because of these energies.
Yeah, and
And yeah, so that's where I see some people are motivated from. It's okay when they are starting, it's okay, but eventually I think life will bring them to the heart.
hmm,
Um, but yeah, I think this could be a nice message that don't be so serious about things that is going around.
yeah.
Everything happens. We can do what we can do, and there are things that we cannot do. Suppose there's a landslide now. Well, what can you do? Master Choa said, ask yourself, what is the worst thing that can happen?
If it's something beyond your control, sit down and have a cup of coffee.
But the thing is, we panic a lot, we worry a lot, we become sad easily. We add a lot of drama to actually which is not so dramatized or not so grave. And then it becomes grave.
Yes.
Right? Now, recently, the hurricane that was going Milton or
It's
whatever that was,
Florida.
it was supposed to be grade 5. So many of us, the masters, were guiding in meditation. We were praying, and then we could see the results. Those who were afraid that their houses will be gone, that was the pathway, they were not. There were some who did get affected, but it was not the intensity that it was predicted for. So I've seen this many times in the last decades where we could even see that some of the and things went back into the ocean, the hurricanes were redirected or the intensity was lesser. I think that is the driving force because we saw results. Yeah. Me being a very practical oriented mindset person, I wouldn't do this blindly.
Mm, true.
Yeah, I see
True.
result, and that's why I'm drawn to keep doing it. And yeah, so many people do it with me, so it's a beautiful experience. And the bliss that happens, right? So that's why I call it blessed to bliss, the daily
Ah.
meditation sessions.
Mm, mm.
I call it blessed to bliss because we bless, 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 and then we bliss out. And that is the moment when we experience our divinity. I say our divinity because we all have our own divinity. It doesn't have to be divinity from outside, right? Because sometimes when we say the divine, we think the divine is outside. It's just that we experience it, which is already within us, right? Uh, while eating food, you're experiencing the food. But if I can also simultaneously experience the divinity within me, which is now simultaneously experiencing physical food, that is something unique.
That is something unique, which again circles back to your opening statements about what you found on the old IIS website on Yahoo, no less. That the quote that miracles are they follow the rules, the laws of nature.
Yeah, yeah.
There have been many beautiful, takeaways from this. But as we bring our session to a close, what last words? What is some advice, or what is some of the best advice that you have received in your life?
I have received a lot of advice. Some are amazing, some not asked for. But if I want to tell people something, is what we tell in the courses of pranic healing. The first instruction that we give is intelligent evaluation, right? Master Choa was one of those teachers. He never said, "Follow me,
Hmm,
believe me,
hmm.
because I am saying so." He never said that, right? He said, follow intelligent evaluation. That means think clearly, understand, evaluate, verify, experiment, then observe and make your own conclusions, right? So I think that is what I want to leave at this end is no blind belief. Do not have any blind belief. There is a lot happening in social media today.
Mm.
Anybody is coming and saying anything, good. It's nice, lot of information, but always weigh it. Look who is talking, why. Do not just be emotionally drawn away just because they had a beautiful presentation or a like a sexy looking body or face or something. Yeah, I want to make it very clear. Sometimes we are just drawn by the physicality, but look beyond that. Ask more questions. Asking is very important, politely. Do not ask the person. Ask yourself, what are they saying? What can I get from this? Is it important for me? Do I need this now? What can I do from this? I think if we can ask these questions, find our answers, we can progress easily. Do not believe anything blindly.
Do not believe anything blindly. Discernment, intelligent evaluation. These are vital things. And given the wave of information and misinformation that is, so a lot of people they're addicted to their devices, right?
Yeah,
They're constantly consuming, and that is what they're filling up their auras, chakras up with all the time.
yes,
I remember this retreat video Master Chua said in talking about computing parlance: garbage in, garbage out.
yeah,
So
exactly.
if what we've got to weigh in, is it something that I really want in my system?
There was a lady, she kept sending me Facebook videos, and then I met her. She said, "Do you see my videos that I sent to you? They are from the aliens." Huh? So I did not open them because I thought they are spam. So and then she said, there are these aliens who communicate to me, and they have been sending me warnings, and all these videos talk about this. So I said, there's no alien, it's just a monitor which is looking at what you like, and then they keep sending it. That's called algorithm. Oh, so there's no alien. She took a while to um, dispel her belief.
Intelligently evaluate.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, Dr. Prashant, thank you so much for being here with us today. On behalf of the Institute for Inner Studies, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for this opportunity. It was lovely to exchange all these ideas on this nice day. Thank you. Thank you, Orca.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. We will be having more interviews with pranic healers, sharing their experiences about life, about pranic healing. So please stay tuned and join us for the next one. Take care. Atma Namaste.